Heyo guys, welcome to First Issue Tech. My name is Kyle T, joined by Mr. Courtney. How's it going today, my man?
It's alright, Kyle. Everything is everything. Life is awesome if it's above ground. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Episode 2, Mission 2, First Issue Tech.
Giggity, and we got some cool new things to talk about today. Two things that I'm very excited about being a PC enthusiast. Number one, AMD is back. It's back.
Yes, they are.
It's been about 5 or 6 years.
AMD is awesome.
Then they are actually, but there's also a lot of controversy, which I don't think I talked about you beforehand, but I'm definitely going to bring it up. There's a lot of controversy getting into the reviews, so we're going to touch on that when we get on that subject. Also, if you are a gamer as well, which you probably are, if you're a PC enthusiast, then you know about the newest hotness. NVIDIA's brand new GTX 1080 Ti is, spoiler warning, it's probably the best card you can buy right now. But were you honestly surprised by that? No, you weren't.
Of course not. It's NVIDIA.
Also swinging it around, we talked about the Nintendo Switch last cast, and now that it's been out for 2 weeks, a lot of things have come up, including some issues, some scratched systems. Yeah, it's been hacked. We'll get into that. And tossing it around. What else we got going on today? Throw something out for me.
Oh, we got AMD Ryzen. It's not really new, but we're going to talk about that, and then we're going to talk something a little different. It's still tech. And we're going to talk about Snap, a.k.a. formerly known as, millennial tool Snapchat. But Snapchat is not just for the teenagers anymore, because businesses are really getting involved, and Gen X are using Snapchat, and even some of the baby boomers, they're using Snapchat, because you got to connect with your audience, and if you want to expand your audience, they've got a good business model, and they kind of really lucked out by not selling. So we're going to talk about Snapchat, AMD, NVIDIA, and anything else that comes to mind.
Bam, bam. All right, so let's get right into the fire. See what I did there? Because AMD used to be like the hottest. Anyway, and you would have noticed it. You would have known. Basically, so yeah.
Burn.
Well, actually, that's great, because that's a good new thing about Ryzen, is because this new, formerly known as Zen, is released. I think it's been out on the market for about 3 weeks now. It came out around the same time. Right at the end of February is when it was officially released to the public. It has its Ryzen 7 series, which they're kind of doing they're really aiming at Intel. And the naming of the CPUs is really close, because they're going to have Ryzen 7, Ryzen 5, and Ryzen 3. Where have you heard that before?
i5, i7.
And i3, yeah. So, and it actually kind of correlates.
Well, actually, I thought they were just doing Ryzen 5 and Ryzen 7. Because the Ryzen 5 starts at $170, between $170 and $250, so if they do a 3, the 3 would have to max out at like 140.
Well, yeah.
Then how good can that be?
Very good, actually. You got to think.
Intel
goes as low as their. They still do Pentiums, and their Pentiums now are actually nothing to sneeze at. The Pentiums from the Skylake series and the Kaby Lake refresh.
Kaby Lake, yeah.
They're actually they're very competent dual cores, and I think they're even starting to be hyper-threaded too. So they're basically just underclocked i3s by this point, and they're less than $100. So they're actually the value processor to beat right now. But hopping over the fence is most likely, I'll do some double research, but I believe they have the 3 series, because going with the Ryzen 7, it is their 8-core 16-thread machine, rivaling Broadwell E and all of the enthusiast grade chips from Intel. All of those multi-core behemoths. And particularly, they're ponying off of all of the benchmarks, which basically have been confirmed. They're beating the $1,000 um, i7 6900K, which is, I believe that's a 10 core, 20 thread. However, it's being beaten in benchmarks by the highest end Ryzen 7. So there's three within the Ryzen 7. Ryzen 5 is actually releasing in about 2 weeks.
Yeah, April
And
11th.
a little farther away than 2 weeks.
Yeah,
But yes,
yeah, it's about a month.
and I think. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it was announced early by someone by in error, but it's actually April 11th.
That would sound about right. So,
That would have
yeah,
been a
man,
great April Fool's Day, though.
yeah, that'd be no joke. Because even those are 6 core 12 threads, which the cheapest 6 core 12 thread for the Intel side, for reference, is
I think it's 500.
Well, the pricing is actually going down because it's the 8350K, which I actually personally was looking at. It's a nice processor. I believe that one's going for about 400 now.
Okay.
That or the 5830K. I got in bed. 5830K, and then the 6800 is the Skylake refresh of that. So, and they're both around the $400 range. The Ryzen 5 series comes in at the highest end of $260. So it's going to have single core performance on par with the the Skylake level and Kaby Lake level Core i5s, but it's going to have as many cores as Broadwell E. So that, I think, is going to be the real game changer.
Okay, I'm cool. I like game changers.
That's what this whole thing is, because when you considering you have a high-end 8-core 16-thread machine that can, or chip that can go up against $1,000 chip, it gets people talking. However, have you seen any of the reviews and rather the backlash over this chip?
I have. I was taking a look at it, and some of these reviews don't seem like they're coming from very educated sources. So I'm going to step away from that. You can go ahead and tell me what you think about what you've been reading. Because I thought they were comical, most of them. Every once in a while I saw one that actually made some sense. But, I mean, it's like when you, off topic a little bit, but when you do a alpha test or a beta test for a game and you give people who aren't really tech savvy early access to your game, and all they do is talk about how crappy it is and how stuff doesn't work. Well, that's the point of the beta. So anyone using the processor before its official release, before all the drivers are updated, what do you expect to get? You know what I'm saying? And even some of these tech journalists or tech enthusiasts that have been reviewing these, I'm looking at them, I'm reading these comments, and I'm like, stuff like that just bothers me. I'm like, it's just unnecessary, stupid comments about someone's product, and it sounds more personal than professional.
So you definitely saw a different side of the reviews, because shout out to the people I actually follow, like Jay's 2 Cents, Linus Tech Tips, and Gamers Nexus specifically. They, if you ever get a chance to look up their reviews of anything CPU or GPU bound, they thorough test everything. Thermals, power draw, total system power draw. They go down and test the different overclocks with the different settings, turning off simultaneous multitask threading to see if that increases the clocks. But basically, all of their reviews, they got bashed for, and I think wrongfully so, because they did the right thing and they put them apples to apples against Intel's product line, and they even explained along the way.
So they got bashed for not providing alternative truths or alternative news. Okay.
Yes. Wrong. Yes. So essentially, the way the Ryzen 7 boils down to is, it is what you think it is. It is a multi-core beast. It's 8 cores. So it excels in workstation loads and production loads, like what we're doing right now. Anything that requires multiple cores. However, it doesn't have the same kind of single-threaded or single-core performance as Intel has right now for gaming specifically.
Now, which one are you talking about? Because you know there's the 1800 and then there's the 1800X with the extended frequency range, the XFR.
There's actually 1800. It's only the 1800X, 1700X, and 1700 in the 7 line right now.
Okay, because the 1800X, you're looking at clock speeds of 4.1. So the
Mm-hmm.
individual thread speeds, are they really that relevant when you think about it for game performance?
Yes, because this is going simply first is my own assumption, but well, not assumption, but those clocks, the overclocking with XFR, it really only applies to the first few cores, which is good because
Mm-hmm.
those are what your games are going to use. Obviously, is your first few most relevant cores. Anything beyond four really is just kind of extra. But it's just the architecture. It's a few things. Is A, the driver support's not there to take advantage of it fully yet. We know this.
Mm-hmm.
And B, also being brand new is games aren't really optimized. No game has been released after the Ryzen launch, so none of them can get really those cool technologies or know how to really dig in and work better on this technology. So I'm assuming with a combination of driver support and just game developers maybe not knowing how to pull the same performance from both sides, considering it came out after their release, is why you're going to see the disparity on top of it being just simply not as geared towards the gaming, simply being an 8-core 16-threaded machine, which is a really cop-out answer. But when you combine all those three, and the difference isn't huge, some games is kind of close. Some games can be as much as, I believe, 20-ish% in favor of Intel.
Mm-hmm.
However, that is also comparing it to the chips that are clocked higher, the consumer grade chips, and not the Broadwell E, which they're going up against. Now, when you compare it against the
Right,
Broadwell
the
E
real
chips,
competition.
exactly, gaming performance on them actually are a lot tighter because Broadwell E doesn't overclock nearly as much. For reference, a 7700K now with Kaby Lake can go as much as 5 gigahertz. Uh, no one's really gotten past maybe 4.2 on an 1800X as far as I'm aware. And even so, two totally different architectures, clock speeds mean nothing in
Right, they
comparison.
mean nothing because you're not really comparing the same thing.
So yeah, that's basically my takedown of that. But yes, they were basically bashed going all the way around because they were claiming that it wasn't getting, or they were unfair to AMD because the gaming performance was so drastically different and it just caused an entire flame war. Basically, that they were stating that the chip is not for gaming and is not a great gaming chip because they wanted to hear that this new piece of technology was the bee's knees and was what they were waiting for. So just every video on Ryzen just has a total flame war on the bottom. It's been nuts.
Even though your guys do thorough reviews, no, I'm going to save that comment because you never know if they're listening. I don't want to hurt their feelings.
Go for it.
No,
I'd love to
I'm
get
just
some
teasing.
feedback.
No, I was just saying they could still be throwing in some of their personal feelings, although they sound like they're giving solid reviews on products because they're testing every aspect of it. But at the same time, for people have to remember, just like when I asked you the question about the the clock speed and the threading, the cores, if it matters, especially how the way threading works. I ask because you have regular people out here that are looking at these products and they read reviews and they ask people questions and they don't know the answer. They don't know this stuff like we do. So if you have regular Joe Bob looking at these reviews and he's like, "What? It's not for gaming." He's not gonna buy it because just because of that one phrase, "not for gaming" or "not really for gaming" or something like that, when it's more than adequate for gaming. Because how many games do you have out there that are so demanding or such resource hogs? I mean, there are some, but how many? Like, are there so many? Is every single game coming out that the casual gamer or the gamer that just wants the best looking graphics for, say, a Call of Duty or Battlefield 1 or Mass Effect Andromeda or something like that? You think, I mean, really? You think a 10-year-old is going to care as much as the 18-year-old computer geek? It just doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't. So to say something's not a product for gaming, I don't think that's a fair testament.
You do have a very good point there because that does delve a lot into the consumer psyche. Having
Right.
talked to some, less than tech spec people, a lot of them just they'll they take that one bit of information,
and they
even
run with
though
it.
exactly. So yeah, and they base everything off of that because as you know, as you well know, this Samsung phone in my hand is going to blow up, right?
Of course, because it's a Samsung.
It's
No, but that's what people
yeah,
think,
exactly.
and it's sad. All right, so Snapchat, recently renamed to Snap. I guess to sound more mature.
Oh snap!
Last year, 2016, they were they had a valuation of about 20 billion. This year they had a valuation of about 26 billion. I was excited about their IPO earlier because I was telling people to buy it at $14.40 when they could. Now it's up over $20. I mean, they are, it's going up and down, but I mean, to get a $4, $5, $6 profit on a few hundred shares, that's going to probably go up even higher in the next few weeks, especially 6 months from now when that IPO lockdown is over and the employees can actually sell and borrow against their stock. I can just see the rates going crazy. Like with Facebook, they came out, they were overpriced, and then it just crashed. So people lost a lot of money on their investment at the time. But look at Google's. Have you
Mm-hmm.
checked their rate? I mean, that's ridiculous. I would love to have
Yeah,
a
Google
a
or Apple stock.
$500. Yeah. I love for my stock to be worth $100+ a share.
Yes, sir. Now I'm going to play a little bit of devil's advocate because the uninformed consumer over here, um, the last report he saw involving Snap as a company was that they have not posted a profit since they had formed.
Most companies don't post profits and they're still around because they don't need to a lot of companies don't actually need to turn a profit to be successful. Amazon hasn't made a profit in 20 years. And look how Amazon is a Goliath of a company now. So explain to me how you can have a company like Amazon and not have a profit in 20 years. Uber, they're they're $1 billion company. They haven't made a profit, but Snap actually did. They came positive last quarter, I think, like 500 million, but they were still in the hole. So I don't even think it's funny how that works for these big companies because if you have investors and they believe in you, you don't ever have to worry about money. As long as you're cranking out things that people are using and finding ways to generate money, the investors aren't losing money as long as you can send them their check every quarter.
Mm-hmm.
So then and I mean, there's a lot more to it than that. I'm just trying to simplify it a little bit. But for me, I used to use Snap and I had fun with it before it had all these features and all these storylines and all that stuff. I would just, quick send something to my cousin or something, or he send me his kid dancing. I'd do the same thing with my son dancing. And it was just something stupid. But I haven't really used it much. And back when I was selling advertising, I was really close to having them as a client because that was right when they were, somebody offered to buy them. I think Facebook offered to buy them for 30 billion or something, or 3 billion, something like that. And they told them no, 30 million. I don't remember what it was. It was about 3 years, 2014, I think. Anyway, yeah, I was going myself and another sales rep at the time where I was working. We were working together, and we were going back and forth, multiple Skype phone calls, multiple meetings, and we were really trying to get their business, but they were hesitant to do any advertising. They were really scared to spend any money at the time because their budget was so tight, and they were about to launch a new product. But at the time, they didn't tell us what the feature was. It turned out to be the stories. And once they did that, they their value went up from the valuation. Not evaluation, ladies and gentlemen, valuation. There's a difference between the two words. But their marketing, I mean their value went up, and they stopped taking our phone calls, and they didn't need to advertise at that point because what that they were trying to figure out how to grow, expand their audience, and they wanted to get more adults using it. So the agency we worked for were perfect because almost every last one of our clients had adult based properties, not pornography, but like news
Mm-hmm.
sites like CNN, ABC, Huffington Post, WorldNet Daily, Crazy Whack Job websites, mom and pop websites, all type of things. And and we were trying to get them, and we were close, but I didn't end up. I didn't get them, and that kind of sucks. So I would have loved to have them as a client at the time. Who knows if I still be doing this if they were my client? But I mean, long story short, Snap is has grown a lot, and I don't think you really need a profit to stay relevant. As long, I mean, to stay running as long as you stay relevant with your product and features, and you have to have something that somebody wants. And
Speaking of staying relevant, and I just kind of want to ride this Snap train a little longer. Do you feel that Snapchat is being under major fire from things like Instagram stories and Messenger Day now being built right into Facebook?
I think they're going to have to find a way because there's so many more users of Facebook on a daily basis. But, being the father of a 15-year-old teenage girl, her and her friends, they have Facebook pages, but they don't use them. They don't use Facebook Messenger. They all use Snap and some other app where you can do group chats all at the same time. You can have like 10 people. I'll go in and talk to her sometimes, and she's on FaceTime or whatever the app is with 10 people, 10 different friends laughing and joking and giggling. She puts me on blast, and I do my big daddy thing on the camera for her friends. But um, yeah, it's interesting. They don't. And I asked her why she doesn't use Facebook, and she's like, "Facebook, what? Please, Facebook sucks." And that's what
What?
so I was asking. I started to do a survey, so I started going around asking a couple teenagers, and pretending like I was doing surveys for real. I was like, "Hey, just want to ask you guys a couple questions." And the majority of the teenagers here in Jupiter, they think Facebook is antiquated, and I'm like, "That's crazy." They use the gram, Instagram, and Snap. And with the gram stealing or borrowing, copying Snapchat's features, and I mean, it's very successful. People are loving it on the gram, and I don't know. I don't really know if that's going to affect Snapchat that much. Think about it. All
Hmm.
the I don't know. We'll see. But I like following. We both have this love for tech. It's like a dirty passion, a taboo of ours. But I'm gonna follow it, and if I can find a reason to use Snap on a regular basis to maybe reach a different audience for some of my other projects, maybe I will.
That's very interesting. I'm actually very shocked uh, to find out that Facebook is antiquated, considering I literally use Facebook Messenger as my primary messaging period. I think you and my brother are the only people I even text anymore, conventional text messaging. So that's kind of crazy, considering that Facebook has all these built in, and everyone has a Facebook. So that's why I figured it was the new, just the norm now.
Well, I actually considered using Facebook Messenger, and I keep going back and forth with this whole privacy thing. And I guess it's not. I guess it really doesn't matter if you, like, say you want to stay private. You don't want anybody to have your information. But I have you in my phone book, and I upload it to Facebook. You're not private anymore. They still have your information, whether you gave it to them or not. They have it. So I guess that's something I have to get over. Now, I don't see why some of these teenagers think Facebook is antiquated because there are so many daily users of Facebook that's keeping them. I mean, they keep adding new features. There's a couple things I wish Facebook would do though, and that's allow you to completely delete everything from your wall. And I wish the biggest,
Mm-hmm.
my biggest gripe about Facebook is the fact that your wall or your feed is not really it's not really updated, and you get to see certain things based on certain actions or certain things you click on. No, keep it relevant. I don't want to see when I log into Facebook and it refreshes. I don't want to see posts from yesterday at the top. I can care less. If I missed it, if I miss it, I miss it. I want to see things that are happening at that moment today. And give me that ability. Give all of us the ability to truly only see the most recent post and let it be from everybody on our list. Let us just scroll through. And I don't care if one person makes 20 posts a day. Who cares? Let me see it. Give me that option to filter that. Don't filter it for me automatically because it's really frustrating. I go in, I see things from 2 days ago or things from 23 hours ago. I'm like, what the hell is, I don't want to see it. And it's at the very top, like it's brand new. And then you go in and you go to feed and you hit most recent, and then you see a bunch of crap. And then immediately again, it's right back to the 2 day old, 24-hour-old post. That's annoying. But I would love to be able to just completely delete everything on the wall all at once with a click of a button, and really be deleted, not archived on Facebook server somewhere. Unless they say, okay, we'll save it for 30 days. Do you really want to delete it in case you don't want to delete it? But no, yeah, I would love to just completely delete everything that I've ever posted.
That's a can of worms I want to save for another one. Some good thoughts. Yeah, I know Facebook has gone through a lot of iterations, and it seems like they had that at one time. They went away from it as it got more popular. And who knows? I mean, social media evolves on the daily nowadays.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
So there's no catching up to it. Wow.
Yeah, that's our time, man. We've got to get out of here. This thing is going to eat up our budget. Just kidding, folks.
Indeed.
But we do want to. I do want to thank you, Kyle, for helping me host this thing because there's a lot of work involved, Mr. Editor.
Hey, no problem. I love what I do. Who knows? Maybe we crank enough of these, I'll be able to afford me a shiny new 8-core Ryzen, so I can blaze through all of these.
Yeah, I'm gunning for a Tesla. We'll see what happens. But ladies and gentlemen, that's our second episode, and we are ecstatic that you made it this long and for another podcast with us. Like we said before, once we reach that milestone of 100 followers or subscribers, you will all be entered in a drawing for something really cool to help you with your tech fix.
And trust me, we wouldn't just get something crappy and say it's really cool. It's going to be something that we actually like.
Yeah, we're not those guys.
Disclaimer.
Yeah, but I'm Courtney, and I want to thank you.
And I'm Kyle, and I'm just some random white guy. So thanks for tuning in.
One more thing. Just want to unofficial shout out to our friends over at Xbox Live Network. Those guys, go to xboxlivenetwork.com, get all your gaming information, Xbox related, other games, tips, tricks, help, support. They're there for you. Yeah, I like that.